All right. Hey, YouTube, I'm Lucky, and today's Thursday, so it's time to cover the big Twab news. We're going to go over Bungie's article and everything that's going on within Destiny for this week. It's actually a pretty exciting one, but before we jump into that too much, obviously they're going to talk a little bit about Guardian games. It would seem as though things are being rigged for Warlocks. That's my inclination. I even said that this was going to happen before Guardian games launched, but let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think about the results so far of Guardian games? And do you think Titan, Hunter, Warlock will win it in the long run? I'll definitely be reading all of your comments down below. Hopefully you're Team Hunter like me, but if you aren't, I'll still love you. But let's go ahead and jump right into the TWAB. The meat and potatoes of the TWAB was this section right here, which is 9,000 words was not enough for Master Raoul. Now this is a reference to the TWAB before last week, which was a huge update to the sandbox and weapons and special ammo economy and even abilities in the game. And so obviously from that, there's a lot of questions, and there was some misinformation or things were explained more vaguely, and they wanted to specify some of these things. So I'm going to go through all of this because this is actually really important to what is the meta going to be next season and what weapons and what builds you're going to spec into and how everything is changing significantly next season from sandbox level. So I'm going to give you the TLDR. I'm not going to read all of it for you because I've read through it now a couple times. So we've got global. They go flinch resistance. How does flinch resistance work rather? And so basically when you're shooting your gun in Destiny, if you get shot at, you flinch, etc., your gun jumps. And this can cause you to miss shots and can be a pain point element if you're playing PvP. You may have noticed this many times before. You know, you're about to hit that last shot that kills them, and just before you fire it, you get shot and flinched, and then you miss your shot, right? And so what you're going to be able to do is spec into this. And so they go over the exact details. They even go over like the scalar. So it's like the multiplier of how much resistance will affect you. From 10 degrees to 4 degrees based on 60% flinch resistance. There's a lot of numbers being thrown out here, but simply put, if you want to not flinch when you're getting in a gunfight, you're going to want to spec into this as much as possible because it'll be definitely a lot more rewarding. And obviously, that's what I'm going to be doing. I've already mentioned this a few times. I'm definitely all about this flinch resistance, and I'll be specking into this a ton. Some others might choose to go the airborne effectiveness route if you like to jump in the air a lot. Obviously, you know, right now you have hunters jumping a lot in the air. You have even warlocks will jump in the air. Even titans do have, you know, their exotic boots that allow them to fly in the air, and they enjoy that with the DMT for a while there. So we'll see who chooses to spec into this and how much they like that. If you do so, then you'll be greatly rewarded for being in the air, but if you don't do so and you jump in the air, you'll be much more heavily punished. So keep that in mind. So you kind of got to spec into it to what you desire and your playstyle that you desire. And then we go over this entire graph right here, and things do get pretty intricate here. I'm going to try and keep this pretty simplistic for y'all. You've got your aim assist cone here, and then your accuracy cones. And so basically in shot number 1, you actually get like a headshot. And so like it seems confusing, but then in shot 2 and 3 and 4, and this is based on your airborne accuracy, and it's talking about aim assist as well. So there's a lot of different numbers and ideas and stuff being thrown out there. But simply put, you know, this is a pretty complicated setup that they're going over here, but there's a variety of different variables and factors that go into what happens when you're shooting your weapon, and sometimes you like miss but hit a headshot. And I think what they may be even referencing here is like I had that video a long time ago where I'm like on the last word and I shoot the last word and it hits the headshot every time, and then I use my mouse and keyboard and it shoots a body shot every single time. And so, you know, there's a lot of nuance and stuff that's going on in the game to make all of that happen. But I do find some of this stuff to be funny, like this like really in-depth analysis of how, you know, aim assist cone scalars work versus airborne accuracy and all of that. But it's like makes me laugh sometimes because literally the melees don't even work half the time in Destiny 2. So I don't like to get into too much of that nuanced stuff. So we'll move a little bit past that. But obviously you can spec into those things if you want those advantages when you're in the air. Then we go over Scavenger perk changes. They are going to be disabled, so keep that in mind. You won't need to use them in the future in PvP. It won't help you at all. And this is an effort to push people away from, you know, just running around with a special ammo weapon 24/7, bring that uptime down. They're not trying to push back towards the double primary ammo meta. They're talking about that, but that was back in the D1 or D2 year 1 days. So we're not going back that way. They're just trying to bring down the usage rates of the special ammo economy. Is it too far? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Is it not far enough? We'll also see. You know, only time will tell. They said that they would do a complete overhaul if it's not enough. So that's what their goals are. Their goals are to balance things out a little bit better in PvP. So we shall see what happens with special ammo economy changes in next season. And then they talk about Foundry playlist origin perks being a thing. They talk about Snapshot, where Snapshot basically Doubles the ADS speed of your weapon now, but in the future it would be making it like 50%, so it'd be like making it 50% faster. So they talk about the changes of the snapshot ADS in the future for sniper rifles specifically. So should be some pretty good changes and should allow for a variety of other sniper perks to excel and do really well. And could be really good changes for snipers overall. We could see a good amount of sniping in future seasons. Then they talk about buffs coming to the lightweight pulse rifles, retrace path getting a buff, slug shotguns and pellet shotguns getting some nerfs, and then fusion rifles, the aggressive frame ones as well. They talk a little bit about the SMGs and their zoom. So do all SMGs with lower than 14 zoom now have 14. Only the ones that were listed will have that. The full auto setting is right now it's a mod that you can put on the weapons, but that will happen in season 19 where you'll just be able to use a setting. So that's actually quite a ways away. Like we're about to hit season 17. We'll have that for 3 months. Then we'll hit season 18. We'll have that for 3 months. And then that will go live. So season 19. So you have to wait quite a ways for that. But I guess that is coming. So keep that in mind. Then they go on for a further section about fusion rifle numbers. And, you know, we could go through here and crunch all these numbers, but I think that once it goes live, we'll have to see how good it is, especially with the special ammo economy changing for fusion rifles, if they'll be as viable with those changes. But all the stuff does seem pretty good overall. And the sidearm changes that go on, there's actually no buffs to sidearms, which a lot of people were curious about. And the reason why is because sidearms are actually really good right now. It's just shotguns sort of outclass them so much, and SMGs even as well. We'll see what happens in the future if sidearms become more prevalent. I could see that being a possibility because you can rock, you know, something like a pulse rifle and a sidearm, and then you wouldn't drop any special. Not that it would really matter much, but you could, you know, keep people away from using special a lot more than ever before. So keep that in mind. Maybe not in trials where you spawn in with rounds, but in the other playlists. So they talk a little bit about that as well. Then they talk about the auto rifles changes, and then the summoner literally only came back for 2 seasons, and a lot of people are like, why? Why did you bring it back for just 2 seasons? And they said that they're doing 2 new trials weapons this season, which is actually really exciting. Looking forward to that. I feel like that's a lot better of a way of doing things. So that should be pretty awesome. And then the really big one that I like here is that trace rifles and machine guns are both getting buffed. Does this suggest future anti-champion mods? No comment. Now, they didn't need to bring that up or talk about that at all, but it is pretty interesting that they would mention that. I feel like there could be a possible for trace rifle anti-champion or machine gun anti-champion mods in the future. So, especially with there being, you know, gigantic changes to machine guns, they're getting a big buff. Maybe it's a machine gun season next season in PvE, especially. They talk about exotic weapons. They have the Vex Mythoclast and its airborne accuracy. They go over the Wave Splitter and a bunch of things with that. The Risk Runner will stay at its 13 zoom. So will Ostia. Lumina does get included in the damage buff reduction, so keep that in mind. It will now grant 15% damage in PvP, down from 20%, and the original value is 35% in PvE. Le Monarcher is not affected by Necrotic Grip because it's not a weapon of sorrow. Does Lawrence Driver change also apply to Arbalest? No, but we'll be looking at these both again in the future. Yeah, we'll see if Lawrence Driver change even does anything. I feel like the reduction to like body shot damage is not really, I don't really see anyone getting much body shots with it, but. And then they talk about the Devil's Ruin in the fighting line for their ammo economy. It could be an issue because obviously Devil's Ruin is really potent and has infinite ammo. Same with fighting line. We'll see what happens with those in the future. And then they go a big article about Eyes of Tomorrow, which would be pretty cool to see if after all these changes, the 1.3 times damage scaler, if the Eyes of Tomorrow, and it has a tracking increase, if that ends up being actually like really good and melting bosses. I'll definitely be melting Morgith with the Eyes of Tomorrow, so make sure to keep that in mind. That video in mind, that'll be coming out soon. And then they talk about the changes to weapon crafting, and you'll be able to masterwork them, so you'll be able to get to the fancy border around your weapons. And exotics will require catalyst to be inserted to get the border around them as well. So pretty exciting stuff. I know I myself like to have the fancy border on all the weapons. So next up, the winner of the Trials map vote is Altar of Flame with a 44% of the vote. So a good majority, almost 50% of the people voted for Altar of Flame, which was an excellent choice considering the 2 alternatives were Vostok, which had 36%. I don't know what kind of deranged people are out there voting for Vostok. And then Fragment received 20%. So that's at least appropriate, I would say. Altar Flame, definitely the best of those 3 choices. So I'm looking forward to that. Then they have the player support report to go over a variety of different bugs, Guardian games, and all of this stuff, known issues. We got the movie of the week, and then we've got the artist of the week, and that's everything for the entire article. This one was by Cosmo, and he hasn't done one in a while, but DMG's off on vacation, so now he's covering this stuff. And overall, some pretty exciting things. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think about all the sandbox changes? What weapons do you think will be meta next season? What will you be using? Sidearms, SMGs, which shotguns, which primary ammo weapons? What are you looking forward to the most? Obviously, Solar 3.0 on top of everything, so seems pretty exciting. Bungie keeping things pretty fresh and new each and every season in Destiny 2 lately. And that's going to be a wrap on today's video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. Smash the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Later.